I'm not defensive about it.
Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another live stream, and welcome to all your latest Chelsea news. And of course, a huge week for the boys. Rosenior'S first game in charge at Stamford Bridge with the Carabao Cup semi-final against Arsenal. Reece James and Cole Palmer, doubts for that game. You know, still unclear on whether James, Palmer, and Gusto are going to be available for that one. Not the best news. Obviously, the press conference taking place today for some reason instead of Tuesday. It normally takes place the day before the game. For some reason, it's taking place 2 days before the game. Not really too sure why that is. We'll go through all the latest stuff for the press conference. We'll look ahead to the Arsenal game. We'll discuss Liam Rosenior in general, because once again, you know, reiterating in the presser today about winning, not speaking about a project. Every time he talks about the football club, he's talking about we need to win. We need to win. We need to win. We need to win. And we do need to win. We absolutely need to be winning, just in general. There's none of this, oh, I'm coming in, I'm going to be here for X amount of years, and we're going to build towards this, and we're going to build towards that. It's coming, it's win, or you're not going to get the results that you need, and you'll be gone very quickly. And I think he's fully aware of that. By the way, big up to everyone that's locked in. United in the mud. Yeah, they are. Yes, big up to you, brother. Afternoon. Palmer should get surgery on his groin issue. I don't know if that's the problem or not. Problem is first half 1-0. That is worrying. Must win game. Fourth. Yeah, okay. Yes, big up, bro. This is a funny one. Rosenior becomes Chelsea head coach, and all of a sudden both Cole Palmer doubts. Well, it's fair. Palmer didn't play in the Charlton game either. Up until his appointment, they were playing matches, and in the squad, this seems like crooked blue co plan. Maybe they're looking to sell both players in the summer. No, I wouldn't be as cynical as that. I'm not really too sure what's going on in that one. But yeah, big up to everyone that's locked in. It's a big week, chat. It's such a big week. Such a big week. And look, you know, Rosenior is really the first manager, I guess, since Tuchel to an extent, who every time he speaks has constantly spoken about winning. Now, Maresca obviously, I think, did mention it, but he didn't mention it all the time to a certain extent. And with Rosenior, whether it's a strategy from him or not, I don't know. But as I said, it really is the first time since Tuchel took over that a Chelsea coach has consistently repeated and said results are important, and made it very clear as well that to win trust, you've got to earn it. And so it is refreshing to hear that. There's been too much gaslighting in recent times. There's been too much BS of hiding behind a project rather than looking at the task at hand. We need to win. We need to win. We need to win. We need to win. And let's hope. Do you know what? I really hope that Rosenior can actually deliver the results, because he talks very well. He says the right things. He makes you want to like him. And now you've got to go. You've got to go and deliver. That's it. You've got to go and deliver now. You have to go and deliver. You know, he comes across well. He speaks well. He says the right things and all that stuff. But ultimately, with the way that you've been speaking, I really hope you can walk the walk, because you can't turn up and, you know, speak the way you're speaking, saying the things that you say, and not deliver the results. That's it, isn't it? You have to deliver results. This is, at the end of the day, results-based business. You can be the nicest guy, you can have the best skills at managing young players, you can have very good people skills and all this sort of things, you can deal with the media very well, you can communicate very well. But at the end of the day, if you do not win, and if you do not get the results on the football pitch, all of that is irrelevant. All of that is an added bonus. You know, if you can speak well, do all those things, and get the results, great. But the number one thing you must do at a football club is win and get results. And that is hopefully what Rosenior is going to do. That's hopefully what he's going to do. Yeah, of course, and that's the way that it always should be. That's the way that it always should be. I'm like that with every manager that comes through the door, whether I agree with the appointment or not. Once you are through the door and you're the manager, I'll support you because I want you to do well. It is that simple. It is that simple. I want you to do well. You need to do well. And ultimately, anyone who doesn't want this manager to do well isn't a Chelsea fan. Because as a fan, the number one thing that is the most important thing is that the team's successful, regardless of who the owners are, regardless of who the manager is. I want my team winning. And if my team wins with Rosenior, great. Couldn't care less. If my team wins with someone else, I don't care. But I'm wanting every single manager that comes in to manage Chelsea to win and to be successful. Now, not all of them will be. But if people are going into this and they're not backing the manager and they're wanting the manager to fail and they're wanting to, this manager to not work out, they're wanting this guy to be sacked and for some sort of agenda that they've got, you're not Chelsea fans. You aren't Chelsea fans. It's as simple as that. You're agenda merchants. That's what you are. Anyone that's wanting Rosenior to do badly or wanting Chelsea to fail, then you're not a proper fan. It's that simple. It's that simple. Winning trophies is the name of the game, regardless of who's in charge. Hell, if we appointed Mikel Arteta ever at some point, I wouldn't be particularly happy about it, but I get behind the manager and I'd support the manager. Well, considering we've not spent 4 billion, no. There'll be money to spend in the summer. I'm sure there'll be, there will be money to spend in the summer. There's no doubt about that. Absolutely, there will be money in the summer. How much, I don't know. We're not going to spend anything this month. I think that's very obvious. That's been made very clear that there's not really any money to spend, or there is money to spend. I don't want to spend it. It's not maybe the right opportunities available. So we wait and see. But I think the big takeaway from the press conference was obviously the fact that Cole Palmer, Reece James, and Malo Gusto still unclear if they're going to be available or not. Still unclear. Now, that's not great news for us. I'll be honest. That really isn't particularly good news. Let's just bring this up now. Because, Palmer, we do need Palmer. 100% we need Cole Palmer. What's that saying there? There we go. We need Palmer. We do. However, I think in a game like this, having Reece James and Gusto available is arguably more important than Palmer. Palmer hasn't been in the best form since he returned from injury. And whilst, you're obviously going to be a better team with Palmer in it, I'll be totally real, chap. I'm not sure if I would even start Cole Palmer in this game. And that might sound mental, but he's not been playing well. And I'm not sure whether it's the right thing to do to start him. You could easily push Enzo Fernandez into that 10. You could play Joao Pedro there. You could do something different. If you're going to have Santos and Reece James in a pivot, push Enzo further up the pitch into the 10. Esteval one side, Neto the other side, the lap up front. I wouldn't be complaining about that. I wouldn't be hating that. Obviously, I want Cole Palmer fit and available. But I don't know whether it's best idea to start him in this game. And that might sound mental, but if he's not 100% fit, if he's not, no, he's not, and he's not particularly playing at his best, then maybe that's something we need to think about. Maybe that's a decision that needs to be taken about whether we should actually start him. Chat, we're 75 in the building, only 29 likes. Smash this like button, get this up past 50 likes as quickly as bettable. As quickly as possible, chat, get this up to 50 likes. Keep smashing the subscribe button if you're new round here as well. Big yourselves up, chat. Big yourselves up. Yeah, potentially, Slime. Potentially. It's not been confirmed yet. Obviously, Rosenior saying here. Let me just get this now. Moy is suspended, as we obviously know. No Caicedo. We've had no new injury problems coming out of Charlton. I'll make a decision on Cole, Mallow, and Reece tomorrow or on the morning of the game. I'm giving them some extra time. Doing a press conference 2 days before is not ideal. Sorry about that, but I've got time to make a decision. I haven't made a decision on the team. I'll make that decision tomorrow or the morning of Wednesday. So, yeah, the 3 players that missed the Arsenal game are still a doubt, by the way. Obviously, there's a training session today. There'll be a training session tomorrow as well. Let's hope, at a bare minimum, they're all in the squad. A bare minimum, they need to all be in the squad. But ideally, we could do with all 3 starting. I think, look, if Maresca was here and he's not, I think we know that Reece James would play in midfield in this game. I'm going to be very, very interested to see how Rosenior approaches this, because this is the biggest game of his managerial career. And he played that down in the press conference today. You know, the next game's always the biggest, the classic kind of manager chat. But this is the biggest game of his career. You know, he's obviously, yes, he's managed against PSG in the French league, but in terms of the stakes, semi-final of a cup competition, this is the biggest game of his career. And he'll be under no illusions about that. He's spoken about wanting to win. He's spoken about having to earn that trust. A lot of people are doubting him. A lot of people aren't really that behind the appointment. If you could beat Arsenal in the first leg of the Carabao Cup semi-final, I tell you what, you would win more people over. You would win more people over. There's no doubt about it. You 100% would win more people over. And that's the aim of the game at the end of the day. Chelsea need to be winning these cup competitions. We've not beaten Arsenal, home or away, in any competition since 2021. That's 5 years, 4-5 years now that we haven't beaten Arsenal anywhere. Home, away, cups. That's unacceptable. We used to beat them every single time. Every time we used to beat them in the Drogba days, we used to own them. And now we can't buy a win over this lot. We cannot buy a win over this lot. And this is the biggest game of our season. Is it the biggest game of their season? Probably not. Do they want to win? Of course they do. Is this important to them? Yes, but obviously they've got their eyes on bigger prizes. You know, they're going for more important things. They're going for the Premier League title. Hell, they're going for a Champions League as well. So, as bad as it is to say this, I think a lot of this outcome is going to depend on how seriously Arsenal take it. What sort of team are Arsenal going to put out for this game? What sort of team will Arsenal put out? So yeah, I don't know what they're going to do. Are they going to rotate heavily? I mean, they made a lot of changes at the weekend. So for the FA Cup tie against Portsmouth, maybe they're going to go. Maybe they're going to go strong in this game. I think you've got to prepare. You've got to prepare for them going strong. That's what you've got to prepare for. You've got to expect Arsenal to have their strongest team on display. You've got to expect them to have their strongest team available, their strongest team out on display, and then obviously we go from there. Look, Arsenal could rotate. I'm not saying they'll rotate heavily, but they could definitely rotate. You know, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it's certainly something that could well be a possibility. It's something which could be a possibility. I'm sure the likes of Saka's and Rice's and all these lot will come back into the team. But it'll be interesting because Arsenal obviously made the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup last season. They lost against Newcastle over 2 legs. They're going to have won nothing since the FA Cup in 2020. This is important to their fans as well. This is important to them as a club. And I agree with Paul here. You know, that going to the Emirates, where our record is not good in recent times, obviously never say never in football. But to be confident, you've got to be taking, in my opinion, you've got to take a lead to the Emirates. Bare minimum 1 goal. 2 goals, and I think we're in a very, very good position. But 1 goal, bare minimum, we need to take lead to the Emirates. If we're going to the Emirates and it's a draw, or we go to the Emirates and we're a goal down, I think we're going to find it very, very difficult. I think we will find it very, very difficult. If we're going to the Emirates having to chase the game, knowing we need something, I think that's going to be really tough. I think it's going to be really tough. But we also got to stay in the game. Yes, big up, brother. No problem, bro. Enjoy your day. Hope work goes well and all that. Well, James and Palmer's not confirmed absence. It's not a confirmed absence. There's still doubts. The final decision has not been taken. If there is, and this is obviously still a big if, but if there was to be no James and no Palmer, then yeah, we're massively on the back foot. We're massively on the back foot if that's going to be the case. Massively on the back foot if that's going to be the case. Now, obviously, the reason that Palmer, Gusto and Reece missed the Charlton game was precautionary, according to Rosenior. They picked up small knocks in that Fulham game. Nothing that's going to keep them out long term, but certainly we could be in a situation where they might miss this game and they'll be back for Brentford, maybe. I don't know. You know, there's always, because Chelsea don't tend to be particularly honest or transparent when it comes to these decisions. Sorry, when it comes to communication about injuries or potential absences, you always kind of think the worst, or you expect the worst, because we've not been honest about things in the past, really, in regards to injury. So I'm hoping it's just going to be nothing major, and they'll be back. And they'll be back for this game on Wednesday. We need them back. Without them, it makes the task even harder. It does make the task even harder. And I look at this, and this for me is, no, Cucurella is available. Cucurella is available. Cucurella was a 1-match ban because it wasn't violent conduct. The red card wasn't violent conduct, so it's a 1-match ban. He missed the game against Charlton, which, to be honest, he probably wouldn't have played anyway. So I don't really think it made an awful lot of difference, other than the fact it obviously cost us the game against Fulham. Blue Code never looking for winning manager. They're appointing project managers. They have been, yes. Do I think Palmer and Reece play? I think they'll play a role. I'm not sure if both of them will start. It all depends on how they come through the training sessions today and tomorrow. No, Cucurella is not injured. He did have pick up a slight injury against Villa. He missed a couple of games. First game back was against Fulham. Got sent off. Was suspended for Charlton, and now he's back fit and available again. So yeah, he's available. Despite the fact that Hato did very well against Charlton, I think game of this magnitude, he unfortunately has to hold the bench. He will have to drop back down to the bench, in my view, and you know, Cucurella will come in. Cucurella has done well against Saka in these league games in recent times. You know, he's done well against Saka. He's managed to keep Saka quiet. You know, he marshals him pretty well. So yeah, Cucurella, Saka makes sense, to be honest. I don't know. Hato's still a bit of an unknown quantity. Had a good performance against Charlton. Admittedly, his opportunities in the Premier League have been few and far between. However, the times that he has played in the league, other than Liverpool aside, where he played about 20 minutes as a centre-back, I think, he hasn't been that impressive. I think he'll get more opportunities under Rosenior, but the point stands. Hato, we need to see that on a more consistent basis. And obviously, for me, it'd make a big difference, because if you can have someone who is genuinely challenging Cucurella, genuinely pushing Cucurella for his spot, then that's going to make a big difference for Chelsea. But right now, on a consistent basis, we are still seeing that Hato is quite a big drop-off from Cucurella. So yeah, we need Hato to maintain that level. I think Gusto was getting back to his best this season. Let's see what he's going to be like under Rosenior. I mean, we saw Action Pong at right back against Charlton, and he wasn't over. He overlapped a couple of times, but most of the time he was underlapping a lot. No, he hasn't. He hasn't. You know, he's not looked quite right since coming back from his injury, and I think that's absolutely fair to say. He hasn't looked quite right since returning from injury, and we're still awaiting his best form. And the mad thing is that you look through this Chelsea team, and you look at the threats, and we're still really boiling our chances down to Cole Palmer doing something. And that just seems absolutely mental that we're still boiling it down to Cole Palmer doing something to try and get results in football games. That can't be right. I mean, look, it does seem that way. He's not officially unavailable. There is a doubt over him. They've not made a final decision yet. Could we see Santos or Asugu in the midfield? Not on Wednesday, we won't. Asugu won't play Wednesday. He was back on the bench for the first time against Charlton, obviously didn't play. I think we see Santos. I think if it was down to me, you'd have Santos and Reece James midfield. Gusto or Action Pong right back, depending if Gusto's fit. Then you push Enzo further up into the 10. And then you start Esteban on the right, Neto on the left. Or you could put Esteban on the left. You could start Palmer on the right if he's fit and available. We need to wait and see. But we have got options there. There are options there, but there's no doubt about it, chat. You know, if Palmer and Reece and Gusto aren't available, or if Reece and Palmer aren't available, it's a long day. It's a long day for us, chat. If that's the situation, and I don't want to be in that situation. I don't want to be in that situation at all. Big up, brother. No, there's no news about Mudryk at all. Yeah, FA Cup draws at like 6:30, I think. Prefer Palmer on the right. Look, he was very good on the right under Pochettino. He didn't play much on the right under Maresca. He was on the right second half against City. He was on the right against Fulham. I don't think he was very good, to be honest, in either of those games. Yes, second half he started to grow into the game a little bit more against Fulham, but nothing major. Not confirmed. If those three don't start, seems like the board wants to throw the game because Reece has been fit all season. Yeah, I'm not really sure because it's so difficult now because now that you hear these stories that have come out after Maresca about, you know, disagreements with the medical team, about the medical team having a serious say in the amount of minutes players should be playing and when certain players should be playing and whatnot, you sort of see Gusto, I think, is different, but Palmer and Reece, like, one of the big fallings out Maresca had was over the amount of minutes that Reece James was playing. Reece played 390s in a week and he was fine. Reece was playing regular football and he was fine. As soon as Maresca's gone, Reece is now didn't make the squad against Charlton. Is now a doubt for this Arsenal game. And it kind of makes it sort of makes you think a little bit. I mean, the cynic in me. You sort of think, whereas Rosenior now, just because he's just arrived at the club, is he now just a bit of a pushover? I'm just going to accept whatever the medical staff say, whereas Maresca was maybe going against that advice to a certain point. I don't know, but it's kind of funny how Reece was available under Maresca for pretty much the whole time, playing regularly, and then obviously he played against City, but then the next two games after that, he played about 20 odd minutes against Fulham, and then he's suddenly out of the squad against Charlton, and then he's a doubt for this one. I could be putting 2 and 2 together here and getting 5, but I don't know. For me, and for the information that we've got, something's not quite making sense there, chap. Something is not quite adding up there. Do you get what I'm saying, guys? Something is not adding up in regards to that. And the Palmer one, maybe not quite to the same extent, but the Palmer one is similar as well. You know, Maresca was saying he was ready to play 90 minutes before the Villa game. Didn't play 90 minutes in either of the two games after that, Villa or Bournemouth. Played his first 90 against Man City since September, And then he wasn't against Charlton. He played about 65 minutes against Fulham. So I'm not too sure what's going on there. But this is something that I'm going to be keeping. I'm going to be keeping a very, very close eye on this, chat. A very, very close eye on this. Very close eye, because, yes, something's not making sense. There's something that's not adding up here. I wouldn't be surprised if he starts against Brentford. Yeah, he probably will start against Brentford. Devil's advocate. Is it possible the medical team genuinely have more knowledge when it comes to judging the fitness of a player over a manager? Look, the medical team obviously are going to know better than the manager, but once a player has been cleared to return, in my opinion, the medical team's then done their job. The manager should have the intelligence and have the conversation with the player about how long you think you can play for, about easing players back in. Like, I'm not a football manager, but if someone's been out injured, you probably play them 15, 20 minutes. Then maybe you play them half an hour, 45, an hour, 75, and then 90. You ease them back in over sort of 4 or 5 games. I don't think you need a medical team telling you, oh, so-and-so can only play X amount of minutes this week, then this week, then this week, then this week. I'm not sure. Bluco out. Maresca was keeping Reece and Palmer fit. Now they're injured. I mean, look, the Palmer thing, I think his groin issue is not really fully gone away. You know, I think it's not really fully gone away. Chat, we're 141 in the building. There's only 56 likes. Get this up to 100 likes ASAP, people. Come on, we're slacking on the likes today, guys. What's going on? What's going on out there? We're slacking on the likes. Havertz made his comeback from injury against Portsmouth. He could play here. Havertz will be on the bench again, I'd imagine, and he'll probably come on. That's the first time I think Havertz has played this season was against Portsmouth. So I'd be surprised if he suddenly starts this game. I'd expect him to be on the bench again. 100% I'd expect Havertz to be bench. Owners did say they don't care if we lose to... Well, there was that briefing. They weren't that asked about the League Cup, which is mental. Honestly, that really annoyed me. The game's evolved rapidly over the past 5 years. The role of a manager has been completely compartmentalised. Yeah, no, I agree that the significance and the importance of a manager in modern football has really never been the same, really. You know, it's never been weaker. The position of a manager in football now is they're not regarded as that important. You know, the model, the way the clubs run, the sporting directors are seen as the most important piece of the puzzle at a football club, which is mad, really, when you think about it. It is mad that there is, you know, a head coach or a manager is not actually deemed that important. I wouldn't use Caicedo, no, because he's suspended for this game, but I'd go James, Santos, Enzo, 10. Yeah, I would. Palmer's not been right for some time. Needs to get his groin fixed. Yeah, and this is the thing, right? Arsenal just need to make sure they're still in the tie. Whereas I think with the second leg at the Emirates, we've got to go there with a lead. And look, anything can happen in football. But if we go there level or we go there a goal or two down, I think we're cooked. I think we're going to be in trouble. Our record at the Emirates is not good in recent times either. We've got to take something there. We'd like to see Reece come out with a statement regarding his fitness. I don't think he needs to make a statement, but, you know, I think we can tell that team selection is being heavily influenced by medical staff. And to a certain extent, I understand that. But ultimately, if we've got a Carabao Cup semi-final on Wednesday night and the medical staff are saying, oh, Reece can only play 45 minutes, as manager, I'm like, nah, I'm playing him 60. I'm playing him 90 minutes or whatever it is, because I need this player to give me the best chance in this game. That's the way that it should be, in my view. That is the way that it should be. Yes, manage minutes to a certain extent, but you're not going to tell me in a semi-final that you're going to be like, oh, sorry, guys, we've got to take Palmer off now. It's 60 minutes on the clock. We still need to win this game, though, but we're going to take him off because the medical team said so. Nah, bullshit. Less of that. Semi-finals, finals. You've got to be getting these players on the pitch for as long as possible. And if you go against the advice of the medical team, then so be it. Then so be it, guys. So be it. Chelsea need a scorer. Yeah, we do. We're struggling with open play goals at the moment. There's no doubt about it. James fit to start tomorrow? We don't know yet. It's on Wednesday as well, by the way. Let's see if our injury record improves under Rosenior. Too many players are lost long term. Well, to be fair, we haven't actually had that many injury issues this season. It's the same candidates. You know, it's obviously Colwer's got the ACL. We lost to Sugu long term. He seems to be back in the fold now. And then Lavia is one who's always out. In terms of actual injuries, players have missed the odd game here and there. But I actually think the injury situation this season really hasn't been that bad. I don't think the injury situation at the club's been that bad this season, chat. Unless I'm forgetting some off the top of my head. I don't think I am. I don't think that the injury situation's been bad. Obviously, it's the usual candidates, but yeah, I don't think it's been that bad. I don't think it's been that bad. So yeah, I really don't. I mean, yeah, look, I think there's no doubting Cole Palmer's ability, but there's also, you know, you have to be honest as a fan and say that this guy's not been performing well recently, and he should, and his place in the team when he's fit shouldn't be a guarantee. He should be the same as everyone else right now, and he needs to be earning his place in the team on merit. It's as simple as that. Bro, that used to be a thing. I remember the horse percenter thing was a madness back in the day. I'm not really sure if that sort of thing, if that sort of thing still happens anymore. Yeah, quite possibly. Quite possibly. This will be a so something weird's going on at the club. Why did they bring press conference a day early? Look, I mean, to be honest, I wouldn't read too much into a press conference being changed. That might have been the plan all along. I've actually got no idea. Look, I mean, the press conferencing I wouldn't read too much into. The sort of the situation about minutes and that with Reece and Palmer and whatnot. I really don't know at this point. Well, look, I think it's clear that Palmer probably did need the surgery. I think Palmer probably did need the surgery, but the medical team, I think they along with the medical team, they opted against that. They decided that not to go with that, and they believe it can heal. Now, only time will tell whether that's going to prove to be the right decision. It'll be very infuriating if we get to a point where, I don't know, at the end of the season, it's the problem and Palmer sacrifices the World Cup and gets surgery. I don't really know. I understand that you want to explore all possible avenues before opting to go for a surgery, but it kind of feels like with this Palmer thing, maybe we should have gone for the surgery, and maybe he could have still been back by now anyway. You know, and that's the issue, chap. Is finding that balance. It's easy to sit here and say, "Oh, we should have got the surgery," but the surgery, I guess, as a player, is always the last thing you want to do. It's always the last thing you want to do is get the surgery. Yeah, I don't know, bro. No, that is another big thing. We cannot have people getting red cards. We cannot have people getting red cards. No red cards tomorrow. We're going to be up for it. The atmosphere is going to be top. It's a big game. Rosenior'S first game at Stamford Bridge. It's obviously Carabao Cup semi-final. We're going to play on the front foot. We're going to be aggressive. We're going to have intensity, energy. Guys, please, please, please do not let any of that go to your heads. Make rash challenges, lose your heads, and put us in the shit. Let's beat Arsenal so they can downplay us and say it's just the Carabao. I mean, look. Yeah, look, we got to keep our heads from a discipline standpoint. I think that's gonna be a key thing. You don't want to be picking up early yellows, and this is the first big test. Look, Charlton, we got through it. Is what it is. It's done. This week is massive. It's this Carabao Cup semi-final, and then it's obviously the huge game against Brentford at Stamford Bridge in the league. This is where we're going to find stuff out about Rosenior, about what he's like in the big games, about can he beat the teams in and around us? The sort of games against Brentford at Stamford Bridge are the kind of games that we have been struggling in. Those are the sorts of games you look at it and you think, right, okay, can you find a way for this team to break these kinds of sides down? Can you do that? What are you going to do slightly different tactically? We know the system, the personnel, and all that stuff is about right. But what are you going to do differently to ensure that the same issues we were having under Maresca, we aren't going to suddenly continue to have those issues? Now, it's not going to be an instant fix, but what are you going to do to try and make that change? What are you going to do about it? And that's what I'm going to be very, very interested to see. Very interested to see. Because we knew with Maresca, even if we didn't always win, we knew there was a big game setup. We knew there was a big game system, a big game formula. And at the bare minimum, we would compete. We would compete in those games. I'm not saying we have to win tomorrow. But at a bare minimum, I want to see us turn up. I want to see us fight. I want to see desire, energy, intensity, effort from everyone. And that's a bit of an unknown right now. So this is our biggest game of the season. This game is so important for us, chat. I don't think you can underestimate how important this game is for Chelsea. It is huge. Absolutely huge, guys. We've lost our last 6 or 7 Wembley finals. We can't be having that. We cannot continue with our record at Wembley being this bad. This is an opportunity to make a statement. This is an opportunity for this group to stand up and show that, do you know what? We are serious. We can win things. We know what it's like to win. Guys, we're 156 in the building. There's only 70 likes. Come on, people. Smash this like button. Subscribe if you're new around here. All of that good stuff, guys. We got to push this up now as we got to keep pushing this. We're 10 subscribers away as well from 19.7K. So smash the subscribe button if you're new. Let's get these final 10 subscribers chalked off as well. But please run these likes up. We need over 100 at a bare minimum. So run it up, chat. Run it up. The community should be helping out here. I know the community is good. Reece James was phenomenal in the 10-man 1-1 draw. He was very, very good. We have to win. This might be our last opportunity to win a trophy for a long time. I wouldn't say it was last opportunity to win a trophy for a long time. We've still got the FA Cup. But right now, this is our best opportunity to win a trophy. And we have to be taking it seriously. I'll be so disappointed. Look, if we turn up, we give it our best and we're outplayed and the better team wins, you hold your hands up, unfortunately, and say, do you know what? That's the way it goes. But what I can't stand for is not competing, is not bringing the energy, not bringing the passion, the intensity, the desire. If we're not playing Esteval, we literally have zero chance. Yeah, bro, if Esteval doesn't start this game, I'll just be really baffled by the whole thing. I'll just be so baffled by it if Esteval doesn't start. Esteval, who doesn't start this game, that just wouldn't make sense. I mean, I'd love to. I'd love to. Look, obviously, I want us to win, and we need to win. But the most important thing is make sure we're still in the tie. We need to be going to the Emirates for the second leg, making sure we are still there. We're still in it. Yep, it does. The Chilwell equaliser ruled out, and then obviously, yeah, we got cooked. We got cooked. That one was painful. League Cup final. Kepa blazing his penalty over the bar. That was a That was a bad day as well. Similar situation. I think Mount missed penalty in the FA Cup final against Liverpool. Yeah, we've got bad memories at Wembley, chat. Real bad memories there. And look, even if we got to the final, it's a pretty tough final as well. It's going to be a Newcastle or a Man City. And that's not easy either. That's not easy either, chat. Yeah, we do. We do have a bad record against Brentford. Brentford are somewhat of a bogey team against us as well. I don't really understand the whole Brentford situation. Why we seem to struggle so much against them as well. Yeah, bro, he should be playing a lot more than he is. As simple as that. Why isn't George? I don't know why George has not got his transfer yet. Obviously, you know, there's still plenty of time left in the window, but no teams seem to have come forward as of yet, and I don't really know why that is. I don't really know why that is. Yeah, but he was having to play right wing back a lot. I don't think he was that bad in the first half against City. And I think he can feel hard done by coming off. I don't know. I don't know because I don't. One thing that people don't realise is how big the step up is from academy football to first team football. The step up is huge. It's absolutely huge. People don't realise that. People do not realise it. I don't fear Arsenal or Man City. We've shown that we can beat and compete with the top teams. We have shown that. Yeah, bro, we are cooked. Yeah, we do need to do. I agree. Look, all those things need to happen. But right now, teams don't fear us, and I don't feel that teams respect us that much either. Now, I'm just being honest about it. Not at the moment, I wouldn't. Not at the moment. He's so much better on the right-hand side. And look, ultimately, when Esteval's on the pitch, we just look so much more of a threat. So much more of a threat. Look at the impact he had when he come on against Charlton. You know, we need one or both of Esteval or Palmer starting, particularly if Palmer's not available or he's not fit enough to start. Esteval has to be playing. He has to be playing. There's no excuses here, chat. There are no excuses here at all. He has to be playing. I couldn't make it any more clearer or any more simple than that. He has to be playing. He has to be playing. And I hope he does, because he's one of the few that can cause the problems. I spoke about this today. I'm sure it'll be out soon, chat. I spoke about this today on the AFTV preview that Esteval needs to be playing more. He's going to be one of our weapons. He's going to be one of our weapons. Steve is not ready for the number 10 role. Steve is not ready for the 10 role yet. Look, if Palmer's fit and available, I'd stick him in there, but I'm not sure if he's fully fit. I think, for me personally, I'd have Reece and Santos as the pivot if Reece is available, and then Enzo in the 10. Esteval right. Well, you could even have Palmer on the right, Esteval on the left. Those are the sort of that's what I'd kind of be looking at. It seems Pedro's fallen down the pecking order. Yeah, Joao Pedro seems to have fallen down the pecking order. Look, this is one game, and look, Joao Pedro will play a lot of games, But I'm looking at this one and I'm thinking, is it quite telling that Liam Delap was preferred to Joao Pedro from the bench against Charlton? Is that telling, or am I just kind of, I don't know, am I just kind of on one there? Oh. Do you know what I mean, chat? Like, does that mean much? Does that signify much? Bro, I do have mods. Let me mod a few more people. Who mentions that about mods? Brother, I'll mod this guy, Slime TV, who mentioned the mod. Add as a moderator. All right, let's get a few more mods in the chat. Chat, if you want to be a mod, just let me know. I'll just add as a moderator as well. Right, chat. We're adding we're adding some moderators now. We need to push these likes, people. Right, okay. Hold on, chat. Hold on. Okay. Jesus Christ, everyone wants to be a mod. Hold on. We need to push these likes, chat. Okay, he doesn't want to be a mod. That's fine. Mod. He wants to be a mod as well. Oh, Jesus Christ. Right, guys, I'm going to do a couple more, and then we're going to leave it there so we can get on with the show, because people don't want to watch me just modding people. Right, moderated. He's going to take the job as well. Good. All right, we're adding some serious mods here. Right, guys. I'm going to do one more mod, and that's it. Right, we've modded some people. That's it now. I'm not doing any more at the moment. Mods, push the likes. Big up to the new mods. I'll add some more. I'll add some more a bit later on. Yep, modded. Done. Right, congrats to the new mods. Big yourselves up. Congrats to the new mods. Yeah, bro, we got a load of spanners now. Nah, bro, I was just so tired because I didn't get home till like fucking 12:30 because we got held back after the game for some reason. I don't really get it. Right, okay, let's get you a mod. See, I was tired yesterday. Still feeling a bit tired today. I can't lie. Still feeling a bit tired today. Right, mods. I've modded a load of you up now. Push the likes, people. Push the likes. Make sure we're getting well over 100. We need to be hitting 150 likes, chat. Simple as that. We're on 82 right now. There's 147 in the building. Right, let's give this guy a spanner as well, and then that's it. So yeah, make sure you run it up. Likes up, people. But yeah, look. I mean, yeah, you could say that. You could definitely say that. Do you think we can win the Champions League? Bro, I'll be honest, no. But having said that, our the two times we've won the Champions League have been in the most unexpected circumstances. And whilst I don't expect us to win the Champions League at all, the fact that this is a very chaotic season, a managerial switch and whatnot, we're not doing well in the league. And these are the sorts of circumstances we could potentially thrive in. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'll say. And that's all I'm saying. Don't fully discount us. I mean, both times, yes, but again, I think we're probably asking a little bit too much on this front if we're going to be switching managers and expecting a win this time round. I don't think so. I don't think so. But but Champions League, you never know. But we got to get through it first. You've got to get through it first. You know, we got to make sure we're in the top 8. So I'm not really thinking about anything to do with the Champions League right now. Nothing at all to do with Champions League. Nothing at all. Sure, but again, one-off game. You know, you've got to do a bit more than that. I have a funny feeling we win the FA Cup and Carabao. At this point in time, bro, I'm happy with just one of them. I'm happy with one of those. Give me one of those trophies, and I'm good. We just need a domestic. We just need a domestic trophy this season, chat. Obviously, the Carabao right now is the best chance, but we need a domestic trophy. Charlie, if we win the Carabao, not FA Cup. Look, if we won the Carabao and didn't get in the Champions League, no, I don't think so. We have to get in the Champions League. I'll be pleased to win a trophy, but if you win the Carabao and do nothing else and you miss out on the Champions League, then that's that's not good enough. I'm not feeling good about Napoli though. If we had beat Atalanta or Carabao, we would have been in a better position. Well, before we think about Napoli, we've got to make sure we get through Paphos. Yes, run it up, people. Run it up, run it up. Yeah, protest on Saturday. Protest on Saturday. No, I didn't, but I did see Matteo Guendouzi do it in the Turkish Cup, Fenerbahce versus Galatasaray. He scored. Give it one of them. The influence is global. The influence is global. Yeah, bro. I hear you. So that's why people kind of comparing that. It doesn't really run that comparison. No, I don't. Because the red card against Arsenal was a mistimed challenge. It happens sometimes, you know, it's unfortunate. And then other ones, he's getting bookings like suspended against Man City. Didn't even touch the guy against Bournemouth when you watch it back. The Cardiff game, he got the yellow card in, suspended for the first leg, was sarcastically applauding the ref. I wouldn't say he's got a discipline problem, no. Big up, brother. Hope you're good. I think it's more this. Needs to be controlling the emotions more. I think that's definitely a fairer way of looking at it. Do I think the academy's dropped off? Maybe. Look, I still think the academy's good, but maybe it has dropped off a little bit. You know, that could be. That's a very fair thing to say. I don't think that's an unfair thing to say. Maybe it has dropped off a little bit. 100%. Yeah, look, if we don't qualify for the Champions League, we have to win it. Simple. Yeah, a lack of consistency is a problem. No, brother, all good. It's between us, United, and Newcastle for 5th. Bro, I think could probably put a few more teams in there. There's all sorts going on right now. There's all sorts going on. Bro, I'll be honest. I don't. That's the Moroccan lad. I don't watch loads of the academy, so I don't really have, you know, the best knowledge of it. I don't have the best knowledge of it. So yeah, it is what it is. I mean, but it's clear that perhaps not as many are coming through, or the quality coming through isn't as big as isn't as good as what we expected in the past. Let's make sure those owners know how to feel. Yeah, of course. This will be the first home game. Obviously, the chance started at Fulham. They continued at Charlton. This will be the first home game. And hopefully, they'll be the same again. The chance against the ownership and whatnot. We need to get the balance right, like we did against Charlton, and let them know. Let them know that this is serious. We're here. We're here for change. We are here for change, chat. Guys, we're 10 subscribers away, from 19.7. There must be 10 of you in here who aren't subscribed to the channel. So make sure you smash that like button. You smash that subscribe button. We need 10 more subs for 19.7. Run it up, guys. Bro, we're not doing anything in January. Moheca needs to go on loan. As I was referring to earlier, the difference between academy football and first team football is huge. Shim needs a loan now. He's kind of too good now for the level that he's playing at. So he needs to go on loan somewhere. I don't think he's mentioned it at all. Every time he's been asked that question, he's spoken about needing to win and wanting to win. He's not spoken about a project at all. Yes, come on, big up, bro. Nobody's. I don't know where people are getting this idea from. I've looked at a press conference. He doesn't mention project. He was asked about Arteta being at Arsenal for 6 years. He said he'd like to be here for that long, but in order to be here, in order to have any chance of being here that long, he needs to win. That's all he's mentioned about is winning, constantly winning. That's what he's been mentioning. Right, let's bring these let's bring this Arsenal press conference quotes up, because unless I'm getting confused, I'm pretty sure he's not mentioned a project or said that he doesn't need to win because it's a project and we're going to do X, Y, Z. Let's have a look. Right. So there's nothing about project there. Nothing about projects there. So this is it here. So yes, I'd love to be here for 6 years or longer. I'd be here as long as possible, but I'm aware in order for that to happen, I need to win. It's as simple as that. I understand every club has a different project. This word project comes out a lot now in football, but the idea in any project is that every game you play, you're trying to win it. It's as simple as that. So for me, my focus is, yes, I've got my ideas about what I want the team to look like in a year's time, 2 years, 3 years, but I think I've got enough resources and enough tools with me now to win that. I've made that clear to the players. We're going to give our best on Wednesday. So that's basically what he said, is that every club is a different project, but he needs to win. I'm pretty sure that's not really referring to project that much. But he's not even saying that that's the end of the project. He's saying that I need to win. That's what I need to do. I need to win. So there we are. Yeah, exactly. This is my thing. He wasn't. Yeah, that's the point. He mentioned it, but he wasn't mentioning it in terms of, oh yeah, it doesn't matter about winning now. He was purely mentioning it because it's a word that gets mentioned all the time. All the time. No, look, even if Rosenior'S successful and he wins, that's not going to change my stance on wanting the owners out. or wanting the owners to change. You know, it's going to take more than a few wins and a few trophies for that to be the case. Exactly. Until we compete for Premier Leagues and win Premier Leagues and Champions Leagues and whatnot, then there's always going to be this thing against the ownership. Well, and I think that's fair. I think that's very fair for that to be the case. I think it's very fair for that to be the case. So yeah, no issue my end. No issue my end at all. Yeah, 100% we are. 100% we're going to keep those chants going. Don't get something because up people for supporting Rosenior. He deserves a chance. Supporting him doesn't mean you support. Yeah, bro, I know. So many people can. I said this last night on Chelsea Fan TV. There's so many people that cannot differentiate or refuse to differentiate between you supporting the manager doesn't mean you like the ownership. You wanting to do the manager to do well doesn't mean you're supporting the ownership. I want the manager to do well because I want Chelsea to do well. I don't want the manager to do well because of this ownership. I couldn't care less about this ownership. My number one focus is Chelsea doing well. I need Chelsea to be doing well, and that's that. No, he shouldn't. And I've been very clear about that in all the shows that I've done. He needs to qualify for the Champions League. If he doesn't, then he's gone. I've been very, very clear on that. 7th, 8th place, unless you win the Champions League, that's not acceptable. That does not mean you get retained. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't unless you've won the Champions League. The only way I'm accepting a 7th or 8th place is if you've won the Champions League and we're back in there anyway. Yeah, so am I. Look, I'm not going to tell people what to do. Look, we need players, but I agree. I think we're in a position where, yeah, Rosenior, we obviously need to try and get by with what we've got to the end of the season. We're not going to bring anyone in. I think that much is very, very clear. Nobody's going to be coming in. Nobody at all. But ultimately, if the manager does well, then that's what we want. You know, we want Chelsea to be a success. If this ownership eventually get themselves together, then I haven't got a problem with that. I've not got a problem with that if this ownership eventually get themselves together. I haven't got a problem with it. Yeah, I hear it. I've got. Yeah, I absolutely agree that there could be an issue there if we don't strengthen. I mean, I've not looked. I don't tend to look into many of the transfers at the moment because we're not really doing anything. We're not really doing anything. So there's no point wasting time looking at transfer rumors because probably most of them don't have much truth in them. I think most Chelsea fans know that we're not doing anything. Or if we do something, it's going to be very, very little. Very little. Very little. It'll just be a couple of signings for the future, probably. And that would be that. Again, nothing concrete on that at all. I think Gallagher will do well at Villa. I think he'll do well at Villa. But the press conference has already been. The press conference was at 2 p.m. this afternoon. The press conference is already done. Yeah, it was 2 p.m. this afternoon for the presser. 2 p.m. this afternoon. Yeah, but we won't. We won't do that. Look, a lot of the summer business is almost done. Quenda and Omega are in, and then from there we see what else potentially. We see what else, but other than that, yeah, I think we'll get a midfield player. Maybe you sign a centre back, but yeah, there's not going to be. You can pick most of the business yourself. No, it's not been quiet. No, it's not been quiet. I think it's all been all right, to be honest. I think it's all been going okay so far. Yeah, I think now that Mainoo still might want to leave, but now that Amarim's gone, I don't think he won't be leaving this month. Maybe he'll still look to leave in the summer. I don't know. I don't know. I'm really not sure, guys. Guys, 135 in the building. Smash the like button. We're on 107. Let's get this up to 120, 130. We're still looking for that 150 target. So smash up those likes. Let's go through a team. Let's go through a team for tomorrow, guys. Let's go through a team for tomorrow. Let me have a quick look. Let me get this up. I'll tell you what, guys, it's an interesting one in goal, isn't it? It's an interesting one in goal. And I'll tell you why. Because Jorgensen has been the cup keeper. Do you stick with Jorgensen for this game? Or do you go, do you know what? We're semi-finals. We need our best players on the pitch. Let's go Santos. Not Santos, sorry, Sanchez. What are you saying, guys? I know it's Wednesday. I know it's Wednesday. Did I say tomorrow? Keep going. Don't be lazy. Yes, run it up. Run it up. For me, look, I think it probably will be Jorgensen, but for me personally, this is the team that I'd like to see. I'm going with Sanchez. I know it might seem harsh. It needs to be done. Right back, providing he's fit, I'm going Gusto. If Gusto's not fit, we go Action Pong. Centre halves, Big Wes and Chalobah. And then left back, Cucurella. What are you guys saying to that? Anyone disagree with that? Anyone disagree with that? And is that a joke? Tossing. I mean, look, it probably will be Jorgensen, but for me, I'm going Sanchez. For me, I'm going Sanchez. So that's the back four. And as I said, if Gusto's not available, you put Action Pong there. Midfield, no Caicedo. For me, I'm going James. And Santos. James Santos pivot. No, I don't think he will. I really don't think he will. No, I'm not sure he will. I'm really not sure he will start. I'm really not sure he will start. But we'll see. Then, again, I'm not sure if Palmer's going to be fit or not. Even if he was fit to start, I wouldn't start him. He's not been playing well. I'll put Enzo in the 10. Esteval on the right. Neto on the left. And then Delap up top. I mean, is that mad? Is that mad, chap? I don't think that's mad at all. No, Caicedo's literally suspended for this game. It's a Carabao Cup suspension, literally suspended for this game, and then that's it. Yeah, if Palmer starts, you could stick Steve on the left. I hear it. No, you could absolutely do that. Xabi Alonso been sacked? Has he? Yeah, he's gone. Mental. Absolutely mental. They literally appointed him in the summer. That's mad. I don't know why Madrid appointed him in the first place if you're not going to give him the profiles and the tools that he needs. Wow, he's gone. That's the most obvious Alonso to Liverpool in the summer when Slot goes. And that's the most obvious one. Could easily see him at Liverpool. Easily. No, I don't think so. I think Real Madrid will literally, and this is why it don't make sense. I think Real Madrid would just promote Arbeloa from the Castilla team. I don't understand. I don't know if Madrid are going to get. I don't know who Madrid are going to want. Could Enzo Maresca go to Real Madrid? Could Enzo Maresca go Real Madrid? Probably not, but I don't know. There's been so many sackings this month. Enzo Maresca to Real Madrid? Who knows? I don't think Alonso would go to United. Not with his Liverpool links. I mean, I could be wrong on that. I could be wrong on that. I don't know. I don't know where Xabi Alonso goes from here. Ruben Amorim? No, Amorim's not going to go to Madrid. Rate Maresca higher than Xabi? Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, that's kind of mad. There's been so many sackings this month. So many sackings, people. But Arne Slot is now on the clock, because now that Xabi Alonso is available, every bad result, every drop points, every loss, going to be questions about his job, and Xabi Alonso is just going to be there lurking in the shadows. Lurking in the shadows. I don't know. I still think his plan is Manchester City. I still think his plan is Man City, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I'm really not sure, guys. I'm really not sure. Well, I mean, with a record investment in the summer, I don't know. He's left by mutual agreement. Of course, he has left by mutual agreement. Yeah, that's mad. Well, bro, I don't know who else is going to play there. Neto's going to play, and I probably still would play him. Probably still would play him. I probably still would, chat. But yeah, look, Madrid still need to do it. They need to do a lot of rebuilding and whatnot. But yeah, mad, gone. Yeah, mutual agreement basically means sacked. Bro, no one's safe here. No one's safe, chap. Bro, everyone leaves by mutual consent now. That's just basically what they put out there. That's what they just all put out there. Everybody leaves by mutual consent. And yeah, as I said, chat, Arbeloa takes over. They're not going to make an appointment now, but I don't really see what difference it makes going from Xabi Alonso to Arbeloa. Arbeloa takes over as new head coach. Is that interim or he's just gone straight in? Yeah, the team should be strong enough. The team should be strong enough, 100%. Yeah, maybe that was the case. I don't know, but that's the team that I'd go with, chat. I mean, let's wait and see what does happen on that front. I don't really know, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, mad. We have to get Champions League this season. Very, very simple. Very, very simple. Get the Champions League. I mean, he's literally gone straight in. Arbeloa straight in. But that's a very solid team. Very solid team. Let's take that off the screen. Let's have a look what else happened. We have that fucking sacking. I mean, not that that matters for us anymore. Yeah, fair. I don't know. Maybe for Rosenior he is. Look, maybe for Rosenior he is. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not entirely sure. Not entirely sure, chap. So no, we're not playing tomorrow. We're playing Saturday. We are playing Saturday, but we're also playing Wednesday. We play. It's Wednesday night, chap. It's not tomorrow. It's Wednesday night. The game. The game is Wednesday night. The game is Wednesday night, chap. Yeah. Yeah, look, Pedro's gonna, have to win some people over. He's gonna have to win some people over. No, I know Arbeloa is taken over. I know Arbeloa is taken over. But Xabi Alonso to Liverpool in the summer is just so obvious. So obvious. But yeah, we'll see. Look, Xabi Alonso only lost 6 games out of 24, and he's still got the boot. I presume so. Max tweet. Let me find it. Let's have a look, guys. I presume so. I don't know for certain. Let's have a quick look at this before we round out, chat. Understand late calls to be made tomorrow night on Palmer, Gusto, and James. Reece and Gusto have tightness, Gusto hamstring area, while Palmer continues to manage his groin issue. They have had a lack of training recently too. Yeah, I'm not sure any of these lot are going to play. I'll be so real. I'm not sure if either of those three are going to play. Yeah, I'm not sure any of these are going to... I don't know what's going on here. Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see on that. We will see on that. Going to be very difficult. Yeah, strange. Well, I don't know why that is, but anyway, it doesn't really matter. So yeah, look, we'll see. Ultimately, I think we have to be real. The Brentford game is probably more important. The Brentford game is probably more important, and I know that might sound a bit mental, guys, but maybe the Brentford game is more important. Yes, big up to you. I'll be there. I'll be there Wednesday at the bridge. We will be there. Bro, we all want trophies. That's what everybody wants. Everybody wants the same thing. We all want the trophies. But yeah, just make sure we're still in contention. That's all we can do. Be in contention come the second leg. Let's turn up. Let's give a good account of ourselves. Fight, desire, all those things. No, maybe Alonso's not ready for Liverpool. Maybe he's not. I don't think it is really, because I think whilst we obviously want to win the Carabao Cup, of course we do, but the Champions League qualification is huge. It's huge. We need that. And so the Brentford game in regards to that is more important. There's 2 legs for this Arsenal game. But yeah, we'll see, chat. We'll see. We will see. But yeah, anyway, chat. We're going to round this one out here. Big up to everyone who's tuned in this afternoon. Please smash the likes on the way out. Let's get as many likes as we can. So smash that like button on the way out. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. We need 10 more subscribers to hit 19.7. Smash that subscribe button on the way out. Smash the likes on the way out. Big love to everyone for the support this afternoon. Appreciate each and every single one of you. I'll be back tomorrow afternoon, 1 p.m. UK time, with Dan Potts to look ahead to the game in more detail, get the Arsenal review, and that's me and Potts live at 1 p.m. tomorrow UK time. Make sure you tune in for that one, guys. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Smash up the like, subscribe if you're new, and love for the support. Catch you lot tomorrow. Up the Chelsea. Blue Co out. Peace.